Hi, welcome to The Pursuit of Truth. It is the 28th of June 2018, and we're getting closer to the 100th podcast of The Pursuit of Truth. This is all about freedom, this one. I've actually written a poem, so you get to listen to that at the end. And it's been sparked up by all these things that I've been talking about, the personal things that I've noticed, and where you have to challenge a company or a business to actually see things in common sense, which they won't do if they've got rules, even if they defy common sense. Like, for example, I was looking to do with passports, because my wife and my daughter have got dual nationality, and I was seeing on the South African Embassy website, because I was looking about the change name thing. So it says, the South African Embassy, if you're a South African citizen, you should be flying through on your South African passport and not on a foreign passport. So I don't know, what's the whole point of dual nationality then? So now I'm confused to know what we're supposed to do then, because obviously she could, if she flies in on a South African, when she flies back, obviously she need a British passport to get back in. Otherwise, and then the stamp, are they going to stamp both of them? Are they stamp one in, one out? I'm sure they don't like that. But it's just like how it says on the South African Embassy. I don't know if it's the same with the British Embassy, whether it's Home Office, whether it says we have to do the same thing. But it says that, if you don't do it, they can warn you. I don't know if it says refuse you entry, but it talks about it, skirts around that kind of idea. And then afterwards, it's got this one line saying that any South African that's only born South African can't be refused entry. So it's like it negates the whole thing it's talking about. Well, then what's the point then? But it says, like, if you choose to use a foreign passport, then that's on you, basically. Well, oh my goodness. I mean, why do I need a passport to go on free land that's not yours anyway? It's nobody's land. It's just someone who's claimed it. Who owns this land? Can you prove that it's yours? And each bit is cut up into small pieces owned by different people. It's interesting that if you think about it. Well, I suppose like the majority is owned by the government, isn't it? But there's lots of bits of the country that's owned by other people, but I suspect they don't really own it. They're just loaned it. But that we are told that, if you use a different passport, despite, if you've got a British passport, you are free to go to South Africa. Like me, I'm a British citizen. I can go to South Africa with my British passport, show it to them, and I can stay there. I think it's 3 months or 6 months. I think it's 3 months. So yeah, there's no problem. But so why is it if a South African does the same thing because they've got dual nationality that suddenly it's a problem? It's like they want to own you. And it's now that I'm thinking about my children. My children are, because obviously I'm born in Britain, my wife's born in South Africa, so now I'm thinking, well, should I put them through this dual nationality business or not? Because I'm allowing, giving them my children, but will they give me dual citizenship, or will I have to jump through their hoops? So you'll take my children, but you won't take me. Well, we come as a package. There's all this stupidness that we put ourselves through. It's all a make-believe. I know I had the same problem with the NHS when my wife was pregnant with the twins. The stupidity of, lack of common sense. I think that was also part of the time when I started to really think about, I can speak, I can say whatever I choose to say, that I shouldn't always feel that I should be subservient, that if I see something that doesn't make sense, I should voice it. Because sometimes people do see reason. But it's like she was hooked up to this machine, listening to their heartbeats, and because they couldn't be bothered to stand, well, not because they couldn't be bothered, I suppose that's a bit unfair, they've got jobs to do, they don't have enough staff, so I had to sometimes hold the machine and it wouldn't record the baby's heartbeats properly, and we would be there for hours doing this. They knew she had no, I've forgotten that name. I knew that name so many times. When you have like it's like contractions, but it's not contractions. I can't remember the name of it now. It's got a specific name. I kept telling them they've got this issue, and they would keep her in for days, and then they'd let her go. they wouldn't sort of, you know, understand. It's because they didn't, I'm sure they don't know. Braxton Hicks. She had Braxton Hicks. And they would think, oh, she's going into labour. She's going into labour. They'd be checking her cervix. No, it's closed. But then they would keep her there for days monitoring this. Oh my goodness, it was really like prison. I don't know if I've described to you before, but being in hospital, you give up your liberty because you have to ask them, can I go? Or you have to discharge yourself. It is like prison. It's the most I've come to feel like being a prisoner. And it wasn't even me that was, I could actually go, but it was just so frustrating because you wait for them. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. Certainly the most off-putting thing to having a baby is having to do it in a hospital, and I understand now why people don't do that. Anyway, yeah, I think that's enough of my... Well, the other thing I was thinking of is this idea. I don't know if it would be viable or not, but I was thinking about, you know, when you see bodies of water, you see land, it seems, you know, flat. You know, especially water, you see it looks flat. If you keep travelling across, it always seems flat. You never seem to find the curve, as it were, because it's so big, I guess. But the thing I was thinking of, could you not have like a helicopter? And I know like water is the best way of measuring level, but if you had a helicopter and it flew over the sea and it had a laser and it could measure the distance between when it sees the top of the water to the height of the, you know, when the beam comes out, and so it could fly across, and that it should, you know, even though it looks, when you look with your eye, it looks flat, that laser should record the curve, isn't it? If it flies far enough, it should show a curve, if there was one. No? Is that not viable? I mean, I know lasers aren't 100% accurate, and I know the problem is it all depends what's under the sea. You know, because, well, I suppose because we know that when we fill up a bowl or something, it is level. So really, it should, if the Earth is flat, in the sense that it's not, well, because I'm saying it could be a bowl, so it might not be flat, but what I mean is, if the water is level, that's what I should say. Forget about flat Earth. Now I know why Jamie changed the paradigm shift. Yeah, it makes sense, because I've even been saying it could be like a bowl, because the water is in a container, but it's flat. But the problem is the water is flat, we see it flat, but the picture of the water from NASA is round. So that's the problem. So if we could measure that with that laser, with the helicopter flying over the top, it should come back that it's level for, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, however far it can travel. And if it doesn't, then we know that the water can bend. I wonder if that's possible. I don't know. It makes sense to me in my mind. Anyway. So here's this poem that I've written for you. Yeah, I don't use that much, but it's called How Does It Feel to Be Free? How does it feel to be free? To be that 1% that can do all they please, with no monetary worries, with no plans or expectations, to work or not work, the choice is yours, to do whatever is your passion, to not need to be told you can or you cannot do, or you are not qualified enough, but with money buy your way in, or create your own dream. How does it feel to be free? Are those that believe they are free because they are told they are, but do not realize their mind is captive to the thoughts before them, building an illusion of freedom? For being free is not just liberty, not just seeing no walls or wires, but being able to do as you please, to live your life as if your dream, to pursue all you wish, to have no barriers for this one-shot existence. Freedom should be complete, not limited. How does it feel to be free? And those that can tell, why do you keep it to yourself? Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Take care, take it easy. God bless, and peace.